Hey guys, it's Mina with Roro Designs Love. Today I wanted to show you guys ways that you can create a border, offset, background, whatever you want to call it, to create your stickers. So this is what I do to do my stickers with. You can apply this to anything that you want to create a background to your projects for, like if you wanted to make t-shirts out of this with words, whatever it is that you need to create an offset like you would with Design Space. Design Space offset is still, I believe, in beta, so it doesn't always work. So I don't even use it. My laptop sucks anyway. This is why I use my iPad for everything. So today I'm going to be doing everything from Procreate through my iPad, and I'm going to show you the ways that you have options to do this. I'm going to show you the way that I've done it in the past, show you the way that I've seen other people do it, which is similar, and I'm going to show you the way that I currently do it, which is actually using another app that I paid for $9 for a flat fee, no subscription, and it's awesome. So let's get started. So I've gone ahead and picked a semi-vibrant color there, whatever you want to do, and I'm gonna just use my stamps because it just makes this easier. I don't have to go in and try to design something to show you. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure that my layer is there perfect, and I'm gonna go ahead and just stamp it. Let me just make this a tad smaller, kind of center it. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So I always work with a design that's really big. Right now I'm working with a canvas size of, this is just a little bit over 5 inches. That's what it is. I'm going to change this DPI to be 350 because I prefer when it's at least 350 or higher. Alright, so we have the stamp. I'm going to go ahead and remove the background. You can see that the middle's not filled in, so when you print this on a white sticker paper, it's just gonna automatically be white. So I'm going to save this now because I'm gonna be using this later. Save it to my files. Perfect. So to create an offset, you have a lot of options. I'm gonna go to white. Usually the offsets tend to be white. You can make them really any complementing color you want to use. So we're gonna add a layer, and we're going to click it and place it underneath. The background, anytime you want to draw something on the background of your design, it should always be on the layer below. So I'm gonna use the monoline because it's just easy. So now you see here, when I draw something, it's on the background, and that's what you want. So you have the very simple option. I'm gonna sit down for this. You can just go ahead and draw it in. So we're gonna click on it, make sure that the streamline is on max, and what that means is that the pen is going to follow you wherever you draw. So if you don't have a very steady line, it helps. So we're gonna zoom in a little bit here, the whole canvas, and put this on max, and you just start drawing. Now this is a lot better if you have a very steady line, if you have a steady hand, it comes out really well. So I'm just going around. It's a fairly easy design. And when I used to do it like this, I don't focus too much on the shape. Just try to get a fairly easy shapes. I wouldn't go too sharp on those corners. So that's it. And then you just fill it in, and there's your background. That's one way to do it. um, it's not my favorite, and here's why. You see here, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so this is not quite straight, so I would go in and make this a little smaller and fix that, and then I would go in and nitpick and find other areas where it's not perfect, and it's still not perfect. So as you can see over here, it is thick, and then over here it's slightly thinner, so it's not very consistent all throughout when you do it this way. There's nothing wrong with doing it this way. I've seen plenty of YouTubers that still just prefer to do it this way. I don't know if it's because it's satisfying for some people to watch to watch them draw this, but it's for me and for what I'm doing, if I can cut corners somewhere, and this is just a bit of a waste of time for me, but that's my preference. So I'm gonna go ahead and clear it, just delete the whole layer. Now this is another way you can do this. You can duplicate your layer, and you can do either one of two things. You can lock it and then fill the layer with the white, and then unlock it, and now you have a background, and you can go ahead and, you know, fill it in, whatever. You can do that, or just leave it for later. Another thing you can do is also duplicate the layer, go to the magic wand, adjustments, go to hue, saturation, and brightness, go to layer, and then just swipe this down to white, go back to your layer, and now your layer is white. So that's one option. So let's do option number 2. Now that your background layer is white, you're gonna go back to the magic wand for adjustments, find Gaussian blur. You're gonna make sure that you're on that layer. So let's go there, Gaussian blur, and you're gonna see this right here where it says slide to adjust, and you're going to slide outside of your drawing and go to the right. You see the percentages rising, and now you can see it, right? You can see that it's creating like a glow there. So you can create a glow and do this. Now the glow can determine how thick of a border you want to do this. So let's do it up to 15. So now you have this all blurry. So let's see, we're gonna duplicate it a few times, and you can see that the blurriness is still there, but it's whiter. It's not as opaque as it was before. So you can do this, combine it, do it again, combine it, and I'm gonna zoom in, and let me see if you can see that. There's a lot of layers there, so there's all the layers that we created and combined are still there. So what you would do now is you would go here to the S to select, go to automatic, and zoom in so you can still see those layers. I'm going to select outside of it, and you see how it's going into the layer. So there's the layers, and now it's grabbing the layers, and the layers are disappearing. So I'm gonna go to where I don't see a layer anymore. I'm gonna stop there, take my 3 fingers, swipe, and cut. So now I've cut away the layers, and then you see it here in a separate layer. Delete, bring this back, and now you have your borders. And I used to do this all the time. I would go in and select duplicate, 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 merge all the layers, duplicate, duplicate, do it like 8 different layers, combine them, do all that. this is all fine and dandy, except you can see how jagged it is. And if it's jagged enough and you upload it into the Design Space, your Cricut will cut each and every one of these little jags. So no, this doesn't work for me either. Now, this is the other thing that I had seen someone do, which is similar, but it's just slightly different. So they create the layer as well. They do the Gaussian blur. Make it blur out so we can just see it. And you're gonna only blur up to the amount of offset that you want. So you don't want to overshoot it too much. You just want to do it up to that amount. So let's do it up to 12%. Now you're gonna go in and go to select immediately after, and you're going to be on automatic and click invert. Then go here. Oh, I messed that up. Let's go back to select automatic, and we're gonna do this until it is surrounding the Gaussian blur that we created. This works too, except see here, the Gaussian blur wasn't strong enough because this is just such a small area. It's thicker here, but it's not there. So this is, I'm going to continue with the how-to that I've seen it done before. So now we're going to go ahead and invert it. And then we're going to go in to the pencil. And we're going to choose something a little bit thicker. And we're just going to, I'm going to use my finger because this is really annoying with the pen. I'm going to go ahead and just fill this in. So because we inverted that selection, it's letting us color it in inside the selection and not outside of it. So that's a cool trick to use for coloring something in. If you don't have a lot of layers to work with, you can select what you want to color in within the layer that you're working in and then color it in. So there, it's done. Now, what I've seen other people do next, it looks fine. The problem is that it's doing two things. It's still showing the Gaussian blur a bit. I'm not sure if you can see that. I'm gonna erase it so you can see the Gaussian blur is still appearing there. And that, I hate that. So what I've seen done is they go in, and now that they have a basic outline, then they go in and manually do it. It gets rid of the jagged edges, and it gives a prettier edge, and it makes it just a little bit thicker. And this is just so pretty to watch, but unfortunately I'm trying to bang out as many designs as possible, and I just don't have the time or patience for this, so I'm not gonna finish it. So now it looks better from far away. Compared to this, it looks a lot smoother, and that's fine. I just don't have the time for that. So this is what I do. Remember earlier we saved this, went to wrench, PDF, export to files. I sent it to files. So here is what I am gonna do with this. I'm gonna go to Design Space. Affinity Designer. Okay, and I'm going to turn this now. This is just a sticker that I was working with for my nephew. He's into Fortnite. It's not a design that I made. I found inspiration online and then I changed the words. I changed it to a different font that I like. So full disclosure, I didn't design it. I just took inspiration just to print it for him, and that's it. That's not something I'm going to be selling. I try to only sell things that I've designed myself, and so so far I've been successful in that. So I'm gonna go here, go to place image. I'm gonna find that one. Here it is, and there it is. So I'm gonna make it bigger. Now the cool thing about Affinity Designer is that it is a vectoring app, and vector, to try to explain that, it means that you can take a design and you can resize it as much as you want, and it's never going to lose its it's never going to change the way it looks. It's never going to become blurry at all. And ooh, I'm sorry if my camera was moving around. So it's never going to become blurry. Here I can resize this and it still looks as it did in Procreate. In Procreate, if you make something smaller and then bring it back up to being bigger, I'll show you now. Select this. I'm gonna make it super tiny. There. And now I'm going to make this big. Let's turn it. Now look at it. I don't know if you can tell how blurry that looks now. If I zoom in, I think you can tell that it's a lot blurrier. Okay, TikTok. So if I do that again, for whatever reason, and then bring it back up again, yeah, it's extremely blurry and I hate that. So let's undo all of that. Bring our design back to where it was. And let's go back to Affinity Designer. So having it selected in the square here, I'm gonna go to FX, click on Turn on Outline, click on the outline. You're gonna see that you have some tools down here. I typically like to start with a color that's entirely different than the offset color that I want to create. So I'll start with the black and then I'll turn them to the offset color that I want, which is gonna be white. So I'll start with the black, and then we go to the radius and you select it, and when you go up on it, the offset gets bigger. If you go down, it gets smaller, and that's pretty cool. Something else you can do is you can have it grow to the inside only. So now it makes the sticker black because that's the color we're using. You can also have it go to the center, which means it's going to grow outside and it's also going to come inside, as you can see. So it gives you a lot of options and it's pretty cool. We're going to use the outside one. And I'm going to go up on it. And for me, because I know how big I want my offset already, I already know how big I want it. So the pixel for me is going to be 150, and it's done. Easy, right? Now the cool thing about this is, if you zoom in, this is our Procreate drawing. It's pixelated, and this is the design space one, not pixelated, or very minimal once you save it and upload it somewhere else. So made it disappear. That's it. So now that I've decided how thick I want this, I can go back on the color and just change it. And I change it to white. Go back up to this little paper here and export. And I'm just gonna go down here to share, and I'm just gonna share it as a image. And it's already pre-selected to save as a PNG, and that's what I need. So now once I go in and I try to create my sheet for print and cut, I'm going to insert photo, create this here, and there it is. It's already done. If I zoom it in, you can see that it's got some very minimal pixels, but they're almost non-existent and it didn't take long at all. So you can just do that, create your design in Procreate, or you can just go ahead and create it in design in the, I keep calling it design space, in Affinity Designer, and just do it all from there. Now, I'm not doing that yet because I'm not that used to it. I'm trying to fit in some learning for it here and there, but honestly, Affinity Designer is awesome for vector designs. That means that if you want to sell digital files for words, you just do words on something, you would do it there and you could share it to the customer, and you can rest assured that the customer will then be able to resize it to whatever size they want because it's a vector image. So it has a huge plus. So let's go here. And what I would do now is resize this to sticker size, which is 3 inches, and just do this, duplicate, there, duplicate, there, and you just design how you want this thing to be cut, and there it is. It's as simple as that, and that's how I like to do it. So I hope you learned something new. And as a bonus, real quick, not to try to make this too long, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I would go ahead and do a sticker sheet. So let me fast forward this bit. So now that you know how to do it, I can show you how I would go about doing it. So I'm gonna bring this back up. I'm gonna go to place image. This is a sticker sheet from another video I made. Okay. Affinity works just slightly differently than Procreate does. So we're gonna use that. I have preset this in Procreate. No offsets on this. So this is how you would do it for a sticker sheet. You have it set up there perfectly. Go to FX, go to outline. We're gonna leave it on black because it'll be easier to look at. You're gonna choose outside, and then you're going to make this the thickness that you want. It's actually very large. Okay, never mind. Let's make it 100. That's still pretty large actually. I'm gonna make it 85. You just play with it and see what you think looks good for you. Let's make it 50. Okay, I like this. I like the way it looks. So I'm going to make it white. Then I'm not gonna save this. Well, let's backtrack. I'm gonna save this the way it is with the background now. So I would go to export and go to share and save it. Once saved, you're gonna go back to the layers. You have these layers selected. You're gonna go up to this thing here. I don't know what any of these things are called. And you're gonna go to rasterize. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna make sure that now this layer is completely combined with the background. So now still selected there. I'm gonna go back to FX. Outline is gonna be turned off, so you're gonna turn it back on. Click on outline, and now you're going to move the alignment to go inside. So what it's gonna do now, it's going to take from, let me zoom in on this one. It's gonna go from the edge of the border in. So move the dial until it's completely covered. So why am I doing this? For a sticker sheet, I want to have a backing. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to show you what I'm actually going to do because I messed up. Okay, so I'm going to create an additional offset to this offset because this is going to go on the back. So I'm going to do another 50. Oh, okay. Make sure we have it on the outside. Do 50 again. That's good. And then you want to make sure that when you do that, that they're not touching. So this was very close, but they're not touching. So that's fine. If you're happy with how that looks, save it. That's good. So we're gonna go back to layers and rasterize, rasterize. Anyway, potato, right? Okay, so we're gonna do that. Now we're gonna go back to effects, go back to outline, click on outline. Now I'm gonna choose an entirely different color again, different from the black. So what it's gonna do now is it's gonna go from the edge of the black in. So like that. Nothing is permanent. You can always go back. So select inside here and it goes in. So now you have this and make it white. I'm gonna leave it as pink for now just to show you exactly what we've just done. So I'm gonna rasterize it so it doesn't go away. Now it's permanent. I'm gonna bring back the one we just did. And pick that one. This one. Perfect. So now I'm going to just kind of center it as best as possible. I don't think this is the same one I did earlier, so it's going to be close. So this is what you would have on your sheet that you're going to see on the other video. I now have my stickers with their offset, and we have the background with the additional offset. And what this does is it gives the cut a little bit of wiggle room, that if it cuts just slightly off, you're not going to be cutting into your backing. It's still going to cut within this area. So this would be white. This would be white also.